Alright, cool. So let's talk about Nick and Jordan. Why are they important? Some say that this is the last romantic relationship within the novel. This is of Nick's courting for Jordan. So the basis of this love, while it isn't truly lustful, what we can say is that it's driven by curiosity. In the earlier stages of the novel, Nick coins it this tender curiosity. And he also has this understanding that their relationship stimulates his, I've put my, curiosity. And so subsequently, as a result of this, their relationship ends because of a lack of substantial romance. They're not fully bursting for this romantic desire. However, there is this slight nuance to the relationship which is really important. And as I'll say, yet here, while this relationship is short, it signifies a realistic depiction of love. Because, like many of our own relationships in real life, they are short-lasted and they are short-lived. And why this is short-lived, perhaps it is emblematic of the summer of the 1920s, wherein Nick truly wants to live his summer and escape what? So Nick's summer romance allows him to escape existential anxieties. And some of these anxieties is this understanding of aging, the formidable stroke of 30. And this is almost a metaphysical outlook on life, right? That his age is a formidable stroke. And this metaphor is truly realized through this understanding of the decade that they live in, which is a decade of loneliness, a decade of a thinning briefcase of enthusiasm. And this enthusiasm is starting to die in Nick. And this is why he tries to relive his youth through that relationship with Jordan. And this is why this love and this depiction of love is truly important, because it offers something truly salient and counterintuitive to that you may have seen in other explorations. Cool, let's move on to Myrtle and Wilson's relationship. So I've labeled this relationship as an understanding that there is a seeking for traditional accountancy. And so Myrtle admits in chapter 2 that she only married Wilson because she thought he was good for breeding, i.e. making children. I thought he knew something about breeding. That's exactly what she says. And later, she sees him as unfit for her, as she says, he wasn't fit to lick my shoe. So, what we can see here, right, is this femme fatale character. There's this character who is defying expectations. She's defying the norm to be chosen and to be plucked out in society. And it's actually she's plucking out the men. She's plucking out the man that she desires. And thus, what we can say is here her character and this depiction of love through the character of Myrtle is truly important, because it sets the standard in the novel that perhaps the male characters subscribe to. And therefore Tom Buchanan becomes a ticket out of the Valley of the Ashes for this impoverished Myrtle. She chooses who she wants to wed her, to make babies with, and thus she can climb the social ladder. Just like how Tom chooses characters to use and utilize. For example, he directly chooses Daisy as his wife because he understands that she can be used to climb another social ladder, to become an extreme aristocrat. And so, what we can say is that Myrtle subverts these gender norms because she wants to join the elite and thus pursue materialism. Okay, so a critical perspective, which I think really highlights this understanding, is given by Christina Ramos. She says that by attempting to maintain his way of life, Tom has reduced whole people into ashes. And while this analysis of love doesn't exactly correlate to Tom's love, what we can say is that we can see a direct correlation to the actions of Tom and its effect onto the female characters such as Myrtle and their relationships. And what I mean by this is that Tom's brutish masculinity has faded off almost and been pushed onto Myrtle to the point where she becomes this really solved femme fatale character. And so she has these masculine traits where she can pluck out different characters. And while we can see this as from a feministic perspective as being quite liberating, what we can also say is that this is perhaps the downfall of Myrtle, because she really thinks she can attain this power in society, and thus she is utilized as commodity, as we see in other stages where Tom casually breaks her nose. That's just one example. And so she truly is reduced to ashes because while she thinks she has power, she truly doesn't in the face of Tom. And this is why her relationship is really important.